offset, open brackets. Click. That cell. Okay? Now, what we want is, after that, you'll see there's 2 zeros separated by commas. What you've got to know about offset, so it needs a starting position. Here it is, this C, right here. Okay? So it needs a starting position of lofted A101. So if your first row was 102, A102. Okay?
When I click it though, it says problem C16 format. Is that okay?
That's okay. I think it's going to be okay. We'll worry about it later. Now, I'm explaining offset. Offset wants us to start at a position and then offset row, and column. So offset, how many rows? 1, 2, 3. How many columns? 1, 2, 3. And that's how offset works. Well, I don't want to offset. I want to stay in this row column. So I'm going to give it 0, 0. Okay? I want to stay locked on this position. But the data is going to go up and down, isn't it? Depending on which product I choose. So this position won't change in the pivot table. It's how far down it goes. So now I have the option of some more parameters. So what I need in here is a count of the number of values there are in that column. And that's why if you look at the sheet I gave you, it says count A10, well, let's do it. So now what I want is count, open the bracket, count. I'm going to go from A101, be very careful. Be very careful. Looking at my sheet, colon. Now, notice that when I did that, it went and put A101 back in. I hit the colon. It defaulted. See, this is where Excel tries to help you. So what I'm going to do is I'll hit the backspace key to get rid of the 1. And what I want, looking at the handout sheet, is 100,000. Listen, do not type a comma when you're typing the 100,000. Because if you do type a comma, it'll think you're typing one of these commas. Don't type a comma. So just type, I've got 1 0, another 0 for 100, 3 more zeros, 3 more zeros. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. Now, let's have a look at my sheet. Let's close it up. Let's close it up. Okay? Comma, 1. Because I want to stay in this column. Stay in this column. Put in the final closing parentheses. Now choose OK. Okay? Now, what it's gone and done is it's given me a string. It's given me a string. So I'm going to have to edit this. Watch. Watch. I'm going to take out that opening double quote. Don't use your keyboard. Don't use the keyboard. Bring your mouse down to the other end. Don't use the keyboard. Hit the backspace key. Now hit enter. Perfect. Done. And I know it's in because look. Saying, well, what the heck am I looking at? Well, squiggly brackets in between. This is Excel's way of telling me it's got an array of many, many values. Hold on, I'll take questions. Hold on. I'm just going to get out of here. I just choose any cell. I'm going to show you something. I have all of those cells now as a name. It's a dynamic name. It's called X independent. Watch equals sum. You all know sum, right? So this is not part of the assignment. I just want you to see something. Watch, I'm just going to hit X. Look at that. Excel can see it. Okay? Excel can see internally stored in Excel now is a dynamic range name called X independent. If I double click it, put in the closing bracket, so I'm checking my own work now, sums up every value that was in that range name. So this is the way before we do our regression and our dynamic chart to make sure the range name is working. Now let me take questions. But before we take questions, let's see if I can feel at least some enthusiasm. Who did it correctly? Oh. That's damn good. I'm pleased. Okay, let's do the problems. What's the first one? Over here. Okay. You weren't careful. You're going to have to start it again. Remember when I had the double quotes? If you go using your keyboard, it's going to botch up that formula.
You just subtracted what are the quotes?
I took the quote out of each end.
Out of each end.
Yes, out of each end. You okay, John?
Yeah, my question was, I was fine just closing it out after typing in refers to.
Okay, now listen, so his was fine,
I
his
didn't
worked.
have the quotes.
You didn't put the quotes in, that's great.
Okay.
See, you're never sure what Excel will do. It will try, you know Excel tries to help us when we do things.
How do you see the other quote if you don't?
Here, click on that graph, that mini graph, and it should open it up, big enough.
Oh, okay.
Try that, because I was the idiot that tried to use it.
Okay. Question over here, sir.
And the reason why you had to have the count in there is
Okay, I'm gonna deal with that in a moment. Let me make sure everybody got their range name created. Over here.
I did the something, like, or something.
wait. First of all, I want to make sure we got the range name created. Who needs help creating the range name?
After we create them, that's it? We don't have to put them anywhere?
No, just create the range name. Just create the range name.
I don't see it.
No, you can't see anything. Okay? But this gentleman over here is the issue with something's wrong with it. You don't have yours created? Yeah, you have to start it again. Delete it, put it back in again. You delete, that's it, delete the range name. At the top, delete. And the range, look, when you come up here, name manager, hit, select it, and hit delete, put it back in again. Okay, now listen. Listen. We want to make sure the range name is in there. Okay? So a way to make sure it's there is to do sum, and give sum the range name. Now, who is having trouble with that? I think the gentleman over here. Okay? Okay? So, perfect.
Yeah. One of the problem I got right.
But you got it right? Good. Hey, fall off the horse. Folks, when you fall off, you're going to lay on the floor and cry like a baby, or you're going to get the damn thing done. What are you going to do? Get it done. Absolutely. Folks, you got to try it. Got to try it. Okay? Before I came down to class, this lady was in my office when a student came by from 15 years ago. Hell, I couldn't remember it. I sort of remembered his face. But he was the highest paid student at the time to leave the School of Accounting. Got the highest job offer. Did you hear what he said at the end when he came back after being in the men's room? He came, I went to the men's room, I thought he was gone, but he came back to say the best person in his life was me. And everything he's got is because of this class. Now, he was good at Excel, really good at it. Okay, he's now got a good job with an oil and gas company in Houston. He's back for Thanksgiving. Okay, so folks, what I want you to do, and I'm encouraged by today, because no crybabies today. You've been good. I'm sorry about the Mac people, but I can't do Macs. I don't own a Mac. Okay? University won't buy me a Mac. I've asked. They said no. We're not a Mac place. Students have to use Windows. So the people on the Windows machine, it's gone well. Now to make sure the range name is working before we create the dependent variable, is just do sum. And you say, well, how do you know it's the right amount? I don't. But I could do this, count, change it to count. There's 187, okay? From 101, all the way down to 187. Yeah, I got them all. 187 of them. Okay? And if we change products, let's change it to apricot halves. Do this. Change your calculation to automatic, 174. So why don't you just choose some other products? You see your dynamic range name is changing? Now, what did count do? Count was counting the number of numeric values that's in this column. And count was starting at that anchor point and adjusting the name as the amount of data changes. So what does that allow me to do? Well, I can now do my regression. One regression for 300 products. Now you say, heck, I'll do myself out of a job because I could have spent 3 months doing 300 regressions. Now I only do one, and just for the drop down, 300 regressions done in one day. Folks, you won't do yourself out of a job. Your boss is going to appreciate you. Okay? Now what we're going to do is set up, and we've run out of time, we've got to set up the Y dependent, but watch, on Y dependent there's a -1. Would you look at row 37? Let me explain why there's a -1. Let me explain. See this grand total at the bottom?
Yep.
See, it's going to count it. And we don't want that, do we? We want to stop the dynamic range name right at that point, right there. That's why you have the -1. You okay? Any questions?
I have one more. In the list of batches, most of them were saying 1, but a couple
Yeah.
of them had like a 3 or a
Yeah, some of them could have had 2 or 3, but most were 1.
Does it factor that?
That's why we did average. So where it was 1, average was total.
Yeah.
Okay?
The count,
Where-
this is general. The count is general.
Okay, I'll deal with that. Any folks, listen up. On Wednesday, I'll have another sheet to do line S and the chart. Now, be honest, wasn't difficult, was it?
It's understandable.
Yeah. Very advanced though. What we did is extremely advanced Excel. Okay? You did well. I'm proud of you people. Okay? See you on Wednesday. Okay.